The sun rises over the ancient seas of the late Cretaceous period about 85 million years ago. Waves crash against cliffs of chalk and coral, and in the golden light of dawn, shadows sweep across the surface of the ocean. But these are no ordinary shadows. They belong to creatures with vast wingspans, gliding effortlessly through the air, masters of both sky and sea. Among them reigns one of the most iconic flying reptiles of all time, the Pteranodon. The name Pteranodon means toothless wing, from the Greek pteron, wing, and anodon, toothless, an appropriate name for this magnificent creature. Unlike the flying dinosaurs often imagined by the public, Pteranodon was not a dinosaur at all, but a pterosaur, a distinct group of reptiles that evolved flight tens of millions of years before birds. Pteranodon lived around 86 to 84 million years ago during the late Cretaceous along the coasts of what is now Kansas, Alabama, and South Dakota when much of North America was covered by a vast inland sea known as the Western Interior Seaway. These flying reptiles dominated the skies above that prehistoric ocean, feeding on fish and small marine animals. It was an impressive sight. Pteranodon had a wingspan of 5.5 to 7 meters, 18 to 23 feet, as wide as a modern small airplane, yet its lightweight body weighed only about 25 kilograms, 55 pounds. Its long, narrow wings were built for soaring rather than flapping, allowing it to glide for hours without effort, riding the oceanic winds much like modern albatrosses do. The most striking feature of Pteranodon was its cranial crest, a long backward-pointing structure that varied in size and shape between individuals. Despite its toothless beak, Pteranodon was a highly efficient hunter. Its long pointed jaws were ideal for snatching fish from the water's surface, and its keen eyesight allowed it to spot prey from great heights. With a sudden dive, it would skim the waves, scoop up its meal, and rise again gracefully into the air, the sun flashing off its leathery wings. The life of Pteranodon revolved around two worlds, the air above and the sea below. As an expert fisherman, it spent much of its time soaring over the vast Cretaceous waters, scanning for movement beneath the surface. With its sharp vision, possibly superior to that of modern birds of prey, it could detect a glint of scales or a ripple that betrayed a fish near the surface. When hunting, Pteranodon relied on aerodynamic precision. It would tilt its wings to adjust its glide, folding them slightly as it descended into a shallow dive. At the crucial moment, it extended its long beak, snatching the fish cleanly from the water before quickly ascending again. Unlike some depictions, it probably didn't plunge deep into the sea. Its bones were light and hollow, making submersion dangerous. Instead, it relied on skill, timing, and wind. The flight mechanics of Pteranodon were a marvel of evolution. Its wings were formed by a membrane of skin and muscle, stretching from an elongated fourth finger all the way to its body. The bones of its arms and fingers were lightweight yet strong, filled with air sacs that reduced density while maintaining rigidity. These adaptations allowed it to stay airborne for long distances with minimal energy. It could travel hundreds of kilometers each day, gliding over the warm marine currents of the ancient seaway. Though Pteranodon ruled the skies, it was not without danger. When it descended to rest or feed near the water's edge, it risked attacks from large marine predators such as Mosasaures or Cephectinus, both apex hunters of their realm. On land, it was vulnerable to smaller dinosaurs and opportunistic scavengers. Fossil evidence suggests that Pteranodon spent limited time on the ground. Its long wings and light frame made terrestrial movement awkward and inefficient. Pteranodon was most at home in colonies, nesting along cliffs and coastal ridges where strong winds provided the perfect lift for takeoff. These colonies could have numbered in the hundreds, filling the skies with synchronized movement, a living storm of wings and shadows over the turquoise sea. Their social behavior likely included group migration, vocal communication, and complex mating displays involving head crests and wing postures. Its temperament was likely cautious and highly alert, tuned to the rhythm of air currents and the shifting patterns of the ocean below. Unlike the fierce predators of the land, Pteranodon embodied the elegance of survival through grace, precision, and mastery of flight. Reproduction in Pteranodon took place along the coasts and cliffs of the western interior seaway, where strong winds and elevated nesting sites provided both safety and easy access to flight. Like most pterosaurs, Pteranodon laid eggs, likely with soft, leathery shells, similar to those of modern reptiles. These eggs were probably buried in sand or vegetation to retain warmth and moisture, protected from both the harsh sun and the ever-present danger of predators. The female Pteranodon, slightly smaller than the male and with a shorter crest, may have taken the lead in guarding the nest. Hatchlings, when born, were tiny but fully developed, what scientists call precocial young, meaning they could move and even attempt to fly shortly after hatching. Their bones were already air-filled and light and their wing membranes well-formed, showing that flight was an instinct, not a learned skill. Growth was rapid, driven by a high metabolism. Within months, young pteranodons could join the adults in the sky, gliding over the waves and learning to hunt independently. It's likely that the early stages of life were spent near the coast, where smaller fish were plentiful and winds gentle enough for practice. Pteranodon thrived for millions of years in a world dominated by marine ecosystems, but its reign came to an end around 84 million years ago, long before the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. The reasons remain uncertain, possibly climate change, rising sea levels, or competition from newer pterosaur species that were more efficient or better adapted to changing environments. The first fossils of Pteranodon were discovered in 1870 by the famous American paleontologist Othniel Charles Marsh, near the Smoky Hill River in Kansas. These discoveries were revolutionary. For the first time, science could confirm that enormous flying reptiles once ruled the skies. Subsequent excavations revealed nearly complete skeletons, showing every detail of their anatomy and forever changing our understanding of prehistoric flight. Today, Pteranodon remains one of the most majestic icons of prehistoric life, a symbol of freedom, evolution, and adaptation. While it shared its world with massive predators and cataclysmic changes, it mastered the one realm that few creatures had ever conquered, the open sky. So when you imagine the age of dinosaurs, don't look only to the ground, lift your eyes to the heavens and picture a Pteranodon gliding silently above a Cretaceous sea wings outstretched against a crimson sunset, free and eternal. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, comment what you liked the most, and share it with someone who needs to hear this too.